So now I have internet. How to verify internet quickly? There's a ping.4.2.2. If I'm pinging, so it means internet is there. So I have two NICs. One is a local NIC, one is a external NIC for internet. And I'm making, if you have two NICs, you have to define the binding orders. Corporate always be a top priority, external will be a second priority. So I'm going to install this Azure AD Connect on a same machine. I'll disable this IE security. And now it will be easy to work on this IE console under the server and download Azure AD Connect. From official. And try to install this on the same machine for a lab purpose. But on reality, I told you we need a separate SQL Server and separate VM. So when you try to install what Microsoft recommend, you should not do the express install. So you typically, when you do I agree the agreement, I accept the agreement, continue, we should not do the express install, never. So in reality, always go to the custom and customize and give a SQL Server. Use an existing SQL Server, server name and database. That's mandatory. Right now I'm doing install because Express Edition, SQL Express database, local database. And finally, it asks you password hash sync or ADFS. Right now, I'm doing with password hash sync. Global admin. Global admin credential we already changed. So
So Victor, we have a question. What is the reason to not use Express install?
yeah, so Express install will give you two negative. It will not allow to sync more than 20,000 users and above, one negative. And second negative is if any service get crash, this database is within the same machine. So what is the best practice? If database is in a different machine, then if at least the sync service is crashed, at least my database is on a different machine, I can rebuild immediately. For a high availability prospect, SQL is mandatory. That's the two reason. And now on-prem credential. On-prem credential is my this one, CorpSoft. And finally, it asks you what object do you want to sync. So I have not added a custom domain right now, so which is okay. It give me a verification you're doing without custom domain. I told you what is the meaning of custom domain. So the only difference is, you see, I'm not selecting everything. What is the best practice? You don't need extra things in Azure AD. It's an instance based AD, so we need only employees as an object. And finally, password write back as an optional option. And password write back, I told you what is password write back. If I reset my password in cloud, that password should come back to the on-prem. And within 5 minutes, we'll see the results. So although this topic is slightly big, and we are on almost closing to the time. So I request to allow another 2-3 minutes more, before we wind up this session, to see the real result, in another 2-3 minutes. So
Yeah,
meanwhile, I'll take up a questions here. So as I see, there is a question called why we need Express, why we should not do Express install, because Express install it not allow you to select the SQL Server name, database name, which I told you. And without SQL in an enterprise environment, that's not the best practice. Typically in a company, I assume we have more than 20,000 employees, and more than 20,000 employees, syncing will not support by this local database with having 4 GB database size. So that's a best practice. We need a SQL. And if you need a SQL, you have to do custom, because in custom only, you will get an option to connect to the database. Make sense?
So guys, if you have any questions, do type them in the Q&A section. We also have this IT community called expertconnect.quickstart.com. Go over there, join it. A lot of the instructors, people who present webinar, everyone's over there. You can ask questions, get answers over there as well.